Welcome back to more museum tours.
Yay! I love the museum. Well,
I'm just not going to spend the night here.
alright, I don't know if I love this museum, but...
Grace Nakamura.
it's the Grace Nakamura Museum.
Of course. Alright, well, we were just at the museum to King Ludwig II. We just wrapped up walking around in there. We're actually going to go back to Rittersberg.
In our state-of-the-art luxury vehicle.
Oh yes, absolutely. Because I mean, like, they keep referring to this place as West Germany, so obviously we're a little behind the times.
We just stick to the script, man. It's all good.
The wall never came down. We're gonna have a chat with our friend here.
Herr Huber?
Yes?
You say it like I haven't spoken to you like 5 times already. Haul these idiots down here.
Are the Smiths in their room?
Yeah, I believe so.
Could you ask them to come down, please?
Yeah, not
They're
too
late for their
much.
stage. You know, they're late for their stage time.
They missed their cue. Curtain was supposed to be 10 minutes ago.
The opening band has no idea what to do anymore.
Now you just tell Merle
They're
what's
just
going
looping the
on.
overture. Thankfully, I haven't had to do that before. Speaking of running a pit for musicals, I haven't had to do anything like that before, thankfully. But
Guys, they're running late. We're gonna have to do some freeform jazz.
we're just gonna have to throw some repeats out there. I've had to do some interesting things on the fly during performances, but that's not one of them. Like when a soloist forgets an entire verse of a piece, and you have to jump ahead to figure out where they are.
Oh dear.
That was fun. Yeah, I have some stories, but this is neither the time nor the place.
I had a dream last night.
We're talking about dreams.
I didn't remember it at first, but
I dreamed a dream in time gone
I
by.
saw something today at one of the museums.
Sorry.
What was the dream?
I was being chased in the woods by wolves. And I saw a sleigh. Ludwig was inside. He pulled me up, and I thought I was safe. But then he turned into a wolf.
So what do you think, Mother?
It's wolves all the way down.
A dream of rescue is a spiritual guide dream. The High Priestess in Gabriel's cards must be linked to Ludwig somehow.
What do the wolves represent?
I'm a psychic, dear, not Freud.
Pfft. What good are you?
But the warning I
I'm
got was
Freud.
about the
They mean
black
penises.
wolf, wasn't it? And the wolves in the dream. It must be the same danger.
It's so frustrating. The more I find out, the more questions I have.
Why don't you try a little communicating of your own? Ludwig's the link. Appeal to him. The answers may not come right away, but at least you'll give the guide something specific to say the next time she contacts you.
Isn't there any way that you could, do a psychic reading on Ludwig or something?
To tell you the truth, I've been trying all day to make contact. But I only feel
He just doesn't pick
great
up his phone.
despair.
I've only gotten a secretary.
Ludwig's soul is not at peace.
He's not even dead, is he?
I'd better go.
Anytime
He's
you
just
need
hiding
us,
upstairs.
stop by.
And be careful now.
Thanks.
He's been hanging out in this hotel for 20 years. He won't pay his bar tab.
It's good to be the king.
Excuse me. Alright, well that was somewhat enlightening. Maybe there's something we can do over here.
Hi, did you have a good time?
Anything new?
Yes, you had a phone call.
Oh,
Really?
A man named Professor Barkley. He said you had his number.
I told you
I
to
do.
shut up and jam.
Thanks.
I was professor of jamology. You beat me to the joke. We've been doing this too long. But come up with the same stupid jokes.
It's called being in tune. Nothing you'd know anything about. Wait.
No, not at all. Not at all. Alright, well, if we got a phone call from our friend in the States, I suppose we should probably go call him. We gotta do all this rigmarole to get over there.
Let me just sit in front of the
big freaking chair.
Let me just sit right here in front of the sword window.
Who should I call?
Ghostbusters?
Not the obvious answer? Alright, well, where is this? No, that's not his card, is it? That's a card? No. That's the letter. I need Barclay's card. Here we go. Use the card on the phone. Because, you know, I didn't come on here to just call him, and I gotta use inventory items to make the call, apparently.
Hello?
Hi, Professor Barkley. It's Grace.
Oh, good. I have a name for you. It's Herr Josef Dahlmeier, and he specializes in Bavarian history, and I think he's somewhere near you are.
Herr Josef Dahlmeier. Great, got a number?
Yeah, I do. It's 4982-555-2234.
I have my
Thanks
check
a lot.
now.
Sorry about the bother.
That's no bother. When are you coming back to school, Gracie?
When I figure it out, I'll let you know.
Well, be good.
I don't need your school. I graduated from the School of Life, man.
School of Hard Knocks to the head.
I don't know if we're gonna get very far with this, but let's give it a shot, considering Grace's German is not fantastic. I mean, she at least understands.
Hey,
which is...
he's got an American colleague. He must know some English.
That's true.
Hello?
Hallo, sind Sie Herr Josef Dahlmeier?
Yeah, you must be Grace Nakamura, the American history student.
No,
Yes.
you could tell.
I hear you're interested in Ludwig II.
You sound Asian.
Very.
Good. There's something I want to show you. Drive to Bern.
You sound like your pants are halfway up your
Meet me at the
chest.
Memorial Chapel.
All right. Thank you.
Oh wait, was there anything you wanted me to look into before we meet?
Well, I was hoping you knew something about someone called the Black Wolf. He was a contemporary of Ludwig's. He lived in Prussia, I think, and he was well connected.
Never heard of him, but I'll check. See you there.
Thanks. Bye.
Shouldn't your voice be deeper and slightly distorted with that lighting?
Alright, well, excuse me. Got everything there. So let's bounce. Get away from the dramatic piano. That changes tune based on the side of the room you're on. Don't think I have anything to say to her, but let's find out.
Gerda?
Yes?
I need to yell at you again.
Have you heard from Gabriel at all?
No, Grace, I'm sorry.
Never mind.
Nope, that was enlightening.
Well, thanks for trying. I'm out of here.
Yep. Time to dramatically put on our jacket again. I mean, with a jacket like that, she looks like she's going to host Unsolved Mysteries. Alright.
At least I have the car keys now.
Oh, yes. Just drive the car. You know, it's not just to look at.
Don't forget to check all the tires in clockwise order before you get in, or it's game over.
Okay, Police Quest, get the hell out of here. Ugh. Maybe that's a series we should do next. Okay. Excuse me. Alright, well, we could go and meet our friend over here. I'm going to actually scan through these other places first, before we do that. Before we lose kind of track of some of what we were doing.
Time, our minds.
Guten Tag.
Well,
Ist das die Wagner Museum?
we've lost our minds if we're
You're
doing
an
this
American,
game.
aren't you?
Yeah, it's true.
I'm afraid the house is closed this time of year. It will be open next month.
Crap.
You are interested in Wagner?
Very interested. Very recently very interested.
Sure. Most of the house is closed for cleaning, but a few rooms are open. I shouldn't let you probably, but
I'm going to be really creepy
if
about
it is
this.
only you, you are alone, aren't you?
Endlessly.
Not going to say anything.
Come in and
Good,
look.
excuse me. I need to sharpen
That's
something.
very generous. What do I owe you?
Georg Immerding. It's only a few displays. Besides, I wouldn't be much of a shining knight if I charged you.
Thanks, Georg. My name is Grace.
Hello.
Wait. Saint Georg, like with the dragon? Is that what we're going for here?
Maybe. But, I mean, it's not... Whatever. Whatever. Alright, so, just to get my bearings here. A couple rooms. That takes us back to the desk. Do you have anything else to say? Tell me about yourself.
What can you tell me
What are you
about
doing
voodoo?
here if the museum is closed?
They always like to have a caretaker here. It's a good job for me. I can
Do nothing.
soak in the atmosphere of the maestro while I compose.
What are you composing?
This? Oh, a new arrangement. One of Wagner's pieces.
For the Bayreuth Opera?
I am only a student at the university. I study music, composition, conducting.
Nerd.
Takes one to know one. Oh, wait.
Is there much of a call for conductors in Europe?
Ask my brother. He is the conductor for the Munich Opera.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
convenient.
it's true.
Does that mean you get free opera tickets?
Yes. I get a week's pass to the Opernfestspiele, the opera
joy.
festival in Munich. It starts in a few months.
Hope I'm still around to see it.
Come with me if you like. If you're still around,
Come
we
with
can go
me,
backstage and
you'll
all sorts of
be-
things.
I'd love that. If I'm still in Germany, I'll call you, all right?
Yeah, good.
In a world of incomprehensible language. Yeah,
So-
good luck not knowing German and being able to follow along what's going on in a Wagner opera.
I was going to say, a world of incomprehensible
Tell me
languages.
about
Isn't that the
Wagner.
Netherlands?
He was a character. He spent most of his life trying to convince rich patrons to subsidize his work. Unfortunately,
Ah,
he had
so the modern
expensive tastes.
economy.
You see, he believed that someone of his genius deserved to live well.
Ah, the modern
Can't
economy.
argue with that.
But Ludwig II supported him, didn't he?
Yeah, sure, but Ludwig came along very late in Wagner's life. By then, he had already been run out of Venice and most major cities because of debt. Ludwig saved him. And the music.
Way to
Best
come
thing
back to the
Ludwig ever did.
microphone, dude. Because you definitely can't hear the difference in recording quality there.
Have you ever heard about the letter that Ludwig wrote to the Munich conductor in 1882 telling him to prepare for a new Wagner opera?
You're full of surprises. For an American.
What do you know about it?
Nothing. It's fake.
No one knows anything about it.
If I told you, I'd have to kill you.
Treasure map, you know. It's probably a complete fairy tale, but it does make you wonder.
You have no idea what it could have referred to? Maybe something that Wagner was working on with Ludwig?
If there was, there's no trace of it. Except perhaps in the dreams of unemployed music students.
Well, that was enlightening, I suppose. I guess that takes us out. Go this way. Alright, what do we got?
Start noodling on it. Come on.
Wagner's piano. On this piano, the maestro composed his later operas, including The Ring.
that's nice and vague for people that aren't terribly familiar with Wagner's works. So the Ring Cycle actually talks about 4 separate operas, not just one, which is kind of what this implies. And yeah, if you're watching those, strap in, because all 4 operas are 17 hours long.
That's a decent time investment right there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're all about Lord of the Rings, the extended version, here you go. Here's the extended version.
Just write a book, man!
Although this is quite the different ring than Lord of the Rings.
Is this more like the horror movie?
No, I mean, this is like Norse mythology stuff.
7 days after you hear this opera, it will be over.
You know, if they're performing them back to back, you're not far off, because you're not doing more than one in a day.
Oh, come on. There's no, like, test opera? Gonna do it. It's like test cricket. You're gonna play for 5 days straight.
Oh. No, I don't believe something like that exists.
Well, it should.
That sounds like a... that sounds like a Philip Glass idea.
Really, honestly, by the end of that, literally everybody's gonna sound like the Portsmouth Symphonia.
Richard Wagner.
Yes.
Richard Wagner.
Hooray.
Grace Nakamura.
Franz Liszt.
Why is there a bust of Liszt
composer
in here?
and Cosima Wagner's father.
Wait, what?
Franz Liszt, composer and Cosima Wagner's father.
Oh, okay.
So it's his father-in-law?
Basically. Well, Wagner is his father-in-law.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, we get, well, in his, oh, never mind. There's a lot to talk about there.
Gotcha.
Liszt was, I'm trying to think of a good analogy. He was basically a rock star of his time, you know, in the 19th century.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a lot of followers, but maybe not as many relationships as you would think of in that kind of circumstance. So,
Gotcha.
like I said, there's a lot of
The
things
death
there.
of Wagner. On Ash Wednesday, 1883, Wagner suffered a heart attack in a Venetian gondola on the way to Saint Michel. His wife and the gondolier carried him into a church where he regained consciousness. Wagner died 4 days later on this sofa.
Some say he's still here.
But those are the
Wagner
people who
died
haven't
on
looked
that
at the
sofa.
sofa.
That's kind of creepy.
It's the Wagner death sofa.
Call
It
that
looks rather
laziness.
simple considering the
Lenin's got
grandiose
defeat
stuff
by
Wagner composed
decades.
here. Wagner's desk, exactly as it was on the day he died. It's a letter from a Monsieur Beaujolais, dated September 1881. Looks like he's discussing acoustics and sound waves, and crystals. Wasn't Wagner's Bayreuth Theater already built? Why would Wagner be worrying about acoustics?
You're always
else to
worrying
add?
about acoustics.
I mean, any good musician is.
It looks like an architectural drawing of a theater. The Wittelsbacher Theater, München. Every square inch is measured. It looks like an
Yeah, I know, you already said that.
It's a letter. Wasn't
Apparently I can't get any closer to the letter, so... Okay,
Just gotta take her word for it.
I guess so.
Wagner's death mask.
It's his face.
And his hand.
Wagner's death hand.
Death hand, yes.
Wagner's death mask.
Oh, hey. We know this guy.
The great patron himself.
The great patron, Baron von Photoshop.
It's funny how the modern economy has shaped itself very much like the 19th century economy.
little bit, yeah.
Basically, people are just looking for patrons, essentially.
Ludwig as the
And even
classical
before
Greek
that.
hero.
Even back to the 18th century, kind of.
It's capitalism. That's really the
Yeah.
thing.
Well, I mean, a short music history lesson after you get out of the whole being hired as a court musician thing, being that you made it, once that kind of got passed and there was a middle class forming, musicians started looking for ways to basically get money out of the middle class. So they needed rich people to pay them to write operas so they could sell them tickets to performances.
Makes sense to me.
Yep, very very short version. Anything?
July 1882. Great and beloved king, Monsieur Beaujolais and I have finished the diagram. We checked the figures many times and Monsieur is confident that it will work. 8 identical fixtures are to be made from the diagram and placed in the theater exactly as specified. I'm sending the diagram with your courier. Be full of hope and have courage. All will be well. Your own, Wagner.
That's not suspicious at all.
Nope, not at all.
June 10th, 1881, Munich residence. Great friend. I am writing to you in the middle of the night. My blood is pounding too wildly for sleep. Tonight's performance, how can I describe it? I am unsure whether to be terrified or thrilled. Perhaps I even feel hopeful? If it is hope, you have given it to me, my friend, for the first time in years. We must speak. Something happened during the music tonight, but I must have your absolute confidence. As you love me, come at once. Your devoted king, Ludwig.
Interesting.
A portrait given as a gift from Ludwig to Wagner.
Here's a selfie, buddy.
Just lean on it.
Ludwig's death mask.
I already looked at that. Oh, we got a new place. What do we have in here? Oh, here.
These look like production designs. These look like production designs.
Okay.
You can tell from the fact that they're holograms.
These look like production designs.
What are they?
These look like production designs.
Oh, right.
Production designs. That's what that is. What they look like.
They're designs in production.
Opera costumes. Opera costumes.
Indeed. Not sure from what.
This must be a model of Wagner's own theater
It's only
here in
model.
Bayreuth.
Tis a
Take
silly.
us back out.
Tis a silly place.
Well, opera is a silly place.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense.
I mean, well, I won't. I'm getting off on too many music history tangents. I'll just stop. But yeah, opera is a silly place. Okay. I don't think there's anything else for us here. We're gonna wait on Neuschwanstein. Go visit our friend. Delmeyer, was it? I think. Oh, we're down here.
Grace Nakamura.
How could I forget? Just looking around, I'm like, where is she? Oh, down there. Oh yes. By the way. Oh,
I saw that.
can't do it now.
I saw the fast forward button show up.
Yep. Yeah. It was pointed out to me, and it's actually there. Hooray! We can use it.
It's a memorial chapel. It's a memorial chapel.
Okay.
You're a memorial chapel.
Near
Oh, that's much nicer.
Yeah, I don't have to stroll all the way across the screen anymore.
This is where he died. You must be Grace. Herr Dahlmeier.
Nobody else would be out here at this time of the day. People get killed.
You. I wanted you to see it.
I mean, look.
I feel him here the most.
I think Richard Simmons entered witness protection.
So, what did you want?
I mean, that's a hell of a haircut, man. Like, you know, if I let my hair grow out, I could probably pull that off, but I would never want to.
And then you would want to pull it off.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if this, well, let me rephrase. If this were like maybe 95, then if this was not if we were 1995 and I were a professional hockey player, then yeah, then you could pull that off. But that's really the only circumstance where that's going to happen.
Good old helmet hair.
Yeah. All right, we got a lot of topics here, and they are, I don't even know what they're doing right now. Just randomly looking at their feet.
Oh, they're making sure that they're on the stage markers.
I hit my spot. Awesome.
I didn't miss my cue.
Professor Barclay says your hobby is Ludwig.
Yes. He was the last real king that Bavaria had. As a Bavarian and a history buff, well, that's enough to hook me right there.
But there's more, right?
But then we had all those fake kings.
He was a romantic, you know. A dreamer.
Not my king.
And he was misunderstood, maligned.
Sounds like you can relate.
Me? Hell, I have it easy. At least I live in the 1990s. And not every eye in the country is on me. But yes, I can relate.
It's the 90s. Go for it.
Sorry, that was just funny to hear. At least I live in the 1990s. Oh God.
Look like you're living in the 1980s, pal.
At least he's not running in the 90s.
That's. I don't know. Wouldn't that be an improvement? I mean,
I don't know. With that hair, though, it's just not gonna work.
It's gonna cause significant drag.
You know about Ludwig's diary, right?
Of course.
How can I get my hands on it?
I'm sorry. I have been trying myself for 5 years. They keep it locked up tight in the Royal Archives and they don't let it out. They must think it contains things that will hurt his image.
They won't let anyone see it, not ever?
Only one person outside of the government ever got to see it, a biographer, Sir Richmond Chapel. He had friends among the German royals and they let him look at it.
Did you ever try to contact Chapel? Pick his brain?
No, and I don't believe I never thought of that. If you do and you find out anything, you must share.
It's a promise.
I always find that turn of phrase weird. Pick his brain. Did you pick his brain? Did you cut off the top of his skull and just yank it right out?
Seems a little more efficient than this.
Tell me about Ludwig.
I don't know where to start. There's so much.
Is he a werewolf?
Politically, the most significant thing about Ludwig II was that he signed over independent Bavarian statehood to Prussia in 1870. Bavaria became a part of United Germany, and Ludwig became a figurehead prince under the Prussian Kaiser.
Why do you think he did that?
Bavaria had been involved in the 100 Years' War. People were tired of fighting. Prussia's push to unite the German states made some amount of sense. Still, Ludwig must have had other options. At the very least, he should have negotiated better terms.
So what was the real reason?
He was manipulated by Bismarck. At least that's what I think, anyway.
What 100 Years' War are they talking about? Because the only 100 Years' War that I know about is from ended in the 1500s.
I don't know. That's a good question.
I mean, if he's talking about like the wars of the coalitions against Napoleon, then that makes a little more sense. But I don't know what he's referring to. That's weird. Okay, moving on.
What about Ludwig personally?
Was he?
You find two perspectives on Ludwig. The view the tourists get is the romantic ideal, Ludwig the tormented loner. Then there is the historian's point of view.
Was he fruity?
Ludwig was plagued with
he
guilt
drunk?
over his sexual orientation and was driven mad with self-loathing.
But I take it you're not buying either point of view.
Well, it's all too convenient, isn't it? That he was a devout Catholic, there is no question, and I'm sure there were pressures on him to be normal. But he was no
Why can't you
prude.
be normal?
I'm not
He loved
normal,
Byron.
Dad. I'm a werewolf.
Yes. Philosophy, the French court. If anything, Ludwig was too much an egomaniac. He didn't give a damn what anyone thought.
He really
And
loved
besides, he
waffles.
didn't try to hide any of his relationships. If he suffered from anything in his romantic life, it was disillusionment. No one loved him back as purely as he himself loved.
That's a great expression.
And you know this
If
how?
it wasn't sexual guilt that tormented him, what was it?
I don't know. His diary was filled with self-guilt, but I'm sure it's not about that. If I knew, I'd write my own book, set the record straight, so to speak.
He was just really guilty about waffles.
You don't want to know what he did to those waffles.
This egomaniac. What you gonna do, brother? When egomania runs wild on you.
No. I don't even know where to go with that one.
Perhaps it's best just to leave it.
Probably. Moving on.
Have you read anything about Ludwig's midnight sleigh rides?
Would that have been something? To be out at night and suddenly see him sweep by with his entourage? They say the night agitated Ludwig, and that being outdoors and the rushing feeling of the sleigh calmed him down. Sometimes
made
even
him
a sleigh
angry.
wasn't enough. He would stop in some remote woods, order his servants to stay put, and go wandering off by himself for hours. It drove the servants crazy.
Yep, he was a werewolf.
Tell me about Bismarck.
Bismarck. He was the Prussian Kaiser's chancellor. Not a nice man.
It's a
Bismarck
worthless
had a
summon in
reputation
Final
for
Fantasy
learning
VI.
people's weaknesses and manipulating them. It's a matter of record that he had spies on Ludwig's staff. He may even have had a henchman even closer to the king. And he was involved in the conspiracy to declare Ludwig insane.
Did you find out anything about the Black Wolf?
I did. I'd read about him before, but I hadn't realized that was who you were talking about. His name was Godin, Paul Godin. I found a reference to his being called the Black Wolf after you telephoned.
I've never heard of him. Who was he?
Godin lived on the fringes of
jerk.
the Prussian court. He was handsome, charming, dangerous, or so they say. He was variously rumored to have been a foreign prince, a Prussian spy, even an
wolf.
assassin. Since you were interested in him, I found out some things that are probably true.
He's a wolf?
It said he came from abroad in the mid-1800s, but claimed high German blood.
Do you know where he came from?
No. And he was ruthlessly ambitious. He probably found out who held the power, Bismarck, and offered his services. Bismarck was a good judge of talent, of that sort anyway.
Of the wolf sort? Did I mention he was a wolf?
Quite literal wolf.
Absolutely. Just had a really high bluff score, that's all. To convince everybody that he's not a wolf.
What else do you know about Godin?
He must have done something remarkable. Bismarck was not a generous man. He liked to string people along with promises, but rarely came through. He did for Godin, though. He gave him a royal title and lands in 1863. And that was the last reference I found to him.
Well, how could he just disappear?
It's not that unusual. Back then, when you were given a title, you usually changed your name and moved to a place where no one knew your past, so you could act with impunity. Or be a pompous ass and get away with it.
You beat me to it. I know all about pompous asses.
Ass.
Pompous asses are my specialty. I have one right
Is there
now.
any way to find out what Godin was called
That's
after
why
he
I
got
have to
his
wear these
title?
pants.
Is it that critical?
It might be.
Well, you could send away for a copy of the entitlement deed, assuming it has been destroyed during one of the wars. Godin's new name would be on it. But you would need a research permit from the government to access those records, and they can be very hard to get. A lot of red tape.
Great. What do you know about Ludwig's hunting accident?
A couple of years ago, I was introduced to this great old man, a real old world farmer. Well, his grandfather was Richard Horning, Ludwig's equestrian. Oh,
he was a
told
horse?
some great Ludwig stories. Sometimes I get lucky.
Werehorse?
Anyway, he said that after the hunting accident, Ludwig got terribly ill, that he had a fever and was acting crazy. They were afraid that the wolf had been carrying a disease or that the bite had gone septic.
A wolf bit him?
Yeah, it's not so unusual. There were a lot of wolves in the Alps back then.
And they were jerks.
The servants were really worried, but Ludwig recovered.
It's not unusual
anyway.
to be bitten by
Horning's
anyone.
grandfather said it was the fever that broke Ludwig's mind.
It's not.
That he was worse than ever after that.
According to this guy, it's not. I know I just kind of stepped over half his lines, but I don't care. Anyway, continuing.
What do you mean Ludwig got worse after the accident?
Ludwig always had been a very private person. But after the accident, he got darker, more crazy. Towards the end, he was even forcing his servants to enter his chambers bent over so they couldn't see his face. Horning's grandfather said his temper was fearsome.
Or
he
for
would
other
fly
reasons.
into a rage at the least mistake.
Must have been terrified of him.
Yes, well. Horning's grandfather felt sorry for Ludwig, and Ludwig hated his own violence. He was always giving gifts to his servants to apologize.
You mentioned that there were other reasons why Ludwig's servants feared him.
Ah, that's another of Horning's mysteries. There's a story about Neuschwanstein. Apparently there was a period of time of 2 or 3 months when Wagner would come and visit him
Wagner?
there. Yeah. The two would lock
Oh my God, I
themselves
love
in the
Wagner
singer's
now.
hall. Horning's grandfather said the sounds that came from there were awful. Well, the servants
I'm such
had
a Wagner
superstitious
fan
minds
girl. Oh my
anyway.
God.
Some of them quit over it, just walked away.
What kind of sounds?
Horning's grandfather called them heartbreaking and ungodly. Maybe it was Wagner trying to sing.
Or, well.
Wagner turning into a werewolf.
I guess that's all for now.
Yeah, it could be.
Thanks for your help.
It's my pleasure.
That's something
If
I
you
read
ever
about
want to talk
in
again,
a
just
music
give me a
history
call. I'll
test.
meet you down.
I will. Thanks.
Servus.
Bye.
Yeah, well, those texts also didn't include Chopin's Fever Dream, so where he invented anime.
This is very true.
They don't cover everything in those books.
Yeah, don't learn everything at college.
This is where they found Ludwig's body.
Anything else to tell me?
This is where they found Ludwig's body.
I guess not.
Draped over this cross in the lake.
He was always had a flair for the dramatic.
I wonder what it felt like under there.
Probably musty and wet and covered in leaves.
Are you okay, Grace?
Slimy.
I wonder what it felt like under there.
Alright, so bench. Or is it just gonna take me back to the railing? Yeah, back to the railing. And I already looked over that way. I don't believe
Grace Nakamura.
I have anything else to look at.
Is that a path to the back there, or is that just...
No. I believe that's all we have here, so... Shoobity-whoop.
Back to the car.
Yep, back to the car and over to... Neuschwanstein. The last stop here.
You know, when you climb up that spire, you can get into the upside-down version of this place.
Our tour begins in the entry hall. Ludwig II lived from 1845 to 1886. He assumed the Bavarian throne at the age of 18 when his father died. Ludwig's passion was building castles. He built 3 during his lifetime: Linderhof, Herrenchiemsee, and Neuschwanstein. Plans for a 4th castle, Falkenstein, were underway when he died. In addition to his obsession with building, Ludwig also had a passion for classical heroic German mythology.
Heroic?
A taste he shared with the German opera composer Richard Wagner. Neuschwanstein is decorated throughout with themes from these stories, most of which directly relate to Wagner's operas.
Peace. I'm out. Alright, before we continue, this is getting reduced. This is driving me insane. Can I even do that? Let me...
there you go. Gotta click and drag.
Yeah, I guess so. Play. Okay. Anything else? Now that I looked at did the tour tape, now we're apparently gonna have an audio tour of the castle.
These scenes seem to tell a story,
Don't
but
forge
I have
in
no
front of
idea
me,
what
please.
story. These scenes seem to tell a story, but I have no idea what story.
Won't the tour tape tell you?
No.
Oh.
At least not here. I could probably tell you that this is probably a scene from Siegfried, which is the 3rd opera in Wagner's Ring Cycle.
I wonder where that door leads.
Well, let's find out.
Looks like it goes to the
where that
crapper.
door leads.
Just do it.
I wonder where that door leads.
Just do it. Nobody's looking. Nobody's in here.
These scenes seem to tell a story, but I have no idea what story.
Alright, well. Anything else? No. Alright, moving on. Tour tape.
You are now standing in the king's bedroom. The theme of the bedroom is Tristan and Isolde, the tragic love story retold in Wagner's opera. The opera was given its first performance in Munich in 1865, and a 20-year-old Ludwig attended. This is probably the most elaborate and expensive bedroom ever created. It took 14 woodcarvers 4.5 years to create this room.
Jeez.
It was this kind of extravagance that bankrupted the king. In the years
Yeah,
before
makes
his
sense.
death, he found it increasingly difficult to find money from any source.
Alright, I'm out of here again. Are you guys, like, pantomiming a cuckoo clock? What's going on here?
Hey, it's a changing of the guard.
I want to try something here.
The paintings in this room
Okay.
are from the Siegfried saga.
Yeah, Siegfried. That's what I thought. Are you going to tell me the same thing?
The paintings in this room are from the Siegfried saga. The closed door leads to the tower, which is not part of the tour. The king was making his way to this very door when he was arrested in 1886.
I want to go in the tower.
I wonder if Ludwig really meant to throw himself from the tower the night he was arrested.
It seems like a reasonable option.
I don't think the guards want to be bothered while on duty.
Bother. Alright, well now that I know that every other thing to click on has a tour tape to go with it, I guess I'll need to do all that.
The richly carved bed, with its canopy, resembles a Gothic building and its turrets. The bed's draperies were handmade by dozens of Bavarian seamstresses. The washstand actually worked by bringing in water from a stream above the castle.
That seems
The richly
excessive.
Yeah, a little bit.
Ludwig sure had a thing for swans.
Well, the name of this castle does translate to New Swan Castle.
Ludwig sure had a thing for swans. Maybe Ludwig thought all this luxury would help him sleep.
Or maybe he was just...
Maybe Ludwig
jerk.
thought all this luxury would help him sleep.
Maybe he's just a jerk, okay?
Scenes from the opera Tristan and Isolde.
Anything else? Same thing?
Scenes from the opera Tristan and Isolde.
Indeed.
I don't think the guards want to be bothered while on duty.
Sure they do. Okay. Going over this way. This camera angle seems very weird to me.
Yeah, that seems composited somehow.
You are now standing in the king's bedroom. The theme of the bedroom is Tristan and Isolde, the tragic love story retold in Wagner's opera. The opera was given its first performance in Munich in 1865.
No, this is
and
different.
a 20-year-old Ludwig attended.
Oh wait, no, it's
It
not.
was this kind.
No, it's not. Oh.
In the corner is a brown tiled stove with clay figures of Tristan and Isolde.
I'm sensing a theme here. Anything else to look at here? Already looked at the paintings up top. Okay, I guess that's a no. Let's keep going.
This is the king's living room. The walls are decorated with scenes from the Lohengrin saga. The king first saw Wagner's opera Lohengrin when he was 16, and it so affected him that he considered it a form of enlightenment. The tragedy of Lohengrin was his essential loneliness. This too was Ludwig's own fate. Ludwig withdrew more and more into his fantasy world of epic heroes and absolute monarchy. An ideal he was determined to create in his castles if he could not have it in his real life.
So he was
He
the
only
original
wanted
weeb?
to be alone with his dreams, so much so that even his servants were kept at a distance and were not allowed to look at him.
What were you afraid they'd see?
Don't look at my action figure collection.
These linens look seriously expensive and seriously old.
They're so out of fashion.
These linens look
So tacky.
The miracle of the Grail.
The Grail! Sorry. Twitch reaction there.
These linens look serious. I'm surprised people don't sit in these chairs when the guard's not looking.
They probably do. Anything else? Anything else? No, not here. Okay. I guess moving on. Oh, wait. We have to wait for that person to walk away first. Can't have two people moving at the same time.
Now we can loot the now we can loot the building.
The swan motif is featured throughout the castle, but it is particularly prominent in this room. Both the swan and the lily were symbols Ludwig associated with himself. They represented his ideals of majesty and purity. The painting behind the swan shows Lohengrin's arrival.
And we can't look at that.
More swans. More swans.
Okay. Doesn't look like there's anything else here, so we'll move on to wherever the hell this is.
This is a reproduction of the grotto from the Tannhäuser saga. In such places, Ludwig could pretend he was one of his beloved mythic heroes. As the grotto personifies, the castles were solitary playgrounds built for Ludwig alone. He believed the masses were too coarse to appreciate fine art, and he seldom entertained guests. In fact, Ludwig had a standing order that upon his death, the castles were to be destroyed. Fortunately, the estate was in such debt that the castles were opened for paying tours only weeks after Ludwig's death. They haven't closed since. It is one of the great ironies of Ludwig's story that the castles that he was thought insane for building are now considered Bavaria's finest treasures. They have paid for their construction many times over.
Lucky for us, he could not afford the dynamite to destroy them.
Alright, let's see. Anything else to look at in here? Oh.
I can almost picture Ludwig in here. I wonder what he really dreamt about in this room.
This is the king's study. Ludwig spent much time at his desk writing letters, drawing up plans for his projects, and studying his favorite authors. He loved poetry, history, and the classics. In later years, he also studied the occult. What affairs of state he did reluctantly attend to were generally attended to alone at his desk in writing. His reluctance to meet with his heads of state and perform the duties of the king were one of the reasons for the charges brought against him in 1886. But Ludwig dreamt of true kingship and a true monarchy, and the small powers left to him after Bavaria succeeded power to Prussia only incited his disdain and frustration.
So he couldn't be king, so he just spent a lot of money.
Seems reasonable to me. I mean, this room is made out of recycled pool tables, so... no expense was spared.
We used only the finest recycled pool tables.
The study paintings depict scenes from the Tannhäuser Saga and the Wartburg Castle.
Okay. Let's look at his desk.
I wonder why he was studying the occult before he died. I wonder why he...
Because he was a werewolf.
I wonder why...
Because everybody's a werewolf. This whole game is werewolves.
I doubt there's anything left in there now. Besides, the guard would kill me if I touched it.
So you're saying I should wait until the guard leaves, and then touch it?
Yes.
The study paintings depict scenes from the Tannhäuser Saga and the Wartburg Castle.
Same thing.
The study paintings depict
Same
scenes
thing.
from the Tannhäuser Saga and the Wartburg Castle.
Okay. Anything else to look at? It would not appear so. Are you gonna leave? I want to touch things.
Come on, you know you're getting bored. You look like somebody who could use a smooth Marlboro. Refreshing taste of cool menthols. Come on, get out of here.
I need to go to Flavor Country.
Exactly. Or more specifically, I need you to go to Flavor Country.
Do you need a passport to go to Flavor Country?
Oh, she's gone!
I doubt there's anything left in there now.
Aww.
Besides, the guard would kill me if I touched it.
You
Boo.
coward.
This is the final room of our tour, the Singers' Hall.
I think I skipped some
It was
things.
modeled after the Singers' Hall of the Wartburg Castle, where minstrel competitions were held in the 13th century. The hall was built for small private concerts, but Ludwig himself never gave one here. It is said that during the last few years of Wagner's life, he came to Neuschwanstein frequently and performed for the king alone in this room. The hall is probably best known for its enigmatic wolf paintings.
Wolf
The
paintings,
original
you say?
paintings were from the Parzival saga, but in 1882, Ludwig had them replaced, supplying the description and titles of the new paintings himself. While all the other rooms in the castle show scenes from Wagner's operas, the scenes in this room are not from any opera that anyone can identify. It is yet another of the many mysteries associated with the life of the fairy tale king.
Well, I think we found Wagner's mystery opera.
The hunters track down Engelhard and Hildegunde.
I think I maybe skipped some things.
There must be a story behind these wolf paintings. But what story?
This is the story of the wolf.
Is he hungry like the wolf?
Ah. secretly Duran Duran. It all makes sense now.
This is all the pieces fit.
Engelhart and the blacksmith. Engelhart courts Hildegunde.
Anything else? I have the icon to look, but it's not doing anything. Interesting. We got 2 exits. I'm gonna go this way. I see the other side of the room, I guess? Yeah.
The wedding feast of Hildegunde and the Baron. The death of Engelhart.
He was a wolf!
Dead wolf.
Nice view of the Alps.
This one is not a
Ludwig's
painting.
childhood castle, Hohenschwangau, is visible from the lookout in the Singers' Hall.
Okay, so that takes me back to both sides. Anything?
This is the final room of our tour.
Okay.
The hall was built for the hall is probably best known for its enigma.
Alright, so that's all the same. Wait. Why do you have 2 exits that go to the same thing?
Redundancy?
That's
Fire code?
stupid. Yeah, they just... Alright, well, I guess I gotta backtrack. Go this way. Oh, wait. Already here. Already here. Already here. Was that through this door? Yes, so we didn't go through this door.
This is Ludwig's private chapel. The king was a devout Catholic, as were all of the Wittelsbacher rulers. They supported the Roman Church even when other European countries were dominated by Protestantism.
It's a beautiful crucifix, ivory and gold.
He always looked so good when he was dead.
I don't think the real cross was that ornate, but hey, whatever.
Probably not.
The Black Madonna of Altadine. I wonder what her story is all about.
Stained glass.
The stained glass window depicts St. Louis receiving the last sacraments.
Looks like that's everything here, and I think that's everything in the castle. But there's a... let's see. So there's a little hint button, obviously.
Hint.
So this tells me the
Hint.
stuff that I haven't done.
Hint. Click on the map. Hint.
So I have obviously missed things.
Many things.
In some of these locations, but yes. I mean, the Richardsburg one makes sense, but the other museums I obviously have missed something. So, this seems like a good place to stop and for me to maybe plot out and try to figure out what I have missed, so I have that ready for next time.
It's important. This means something.
Stop blinking at me. Okay, so, like I said, this seems like a good place to stop for now. So, join us next time when we retrace all our steps, because yay point-and-click adventure games.
Yay, more museums.
Oh, man. I have to say, this is one thing I don't miss about this particular genre of game.
What? You don't like...
Hey, did you click on every little thing? You didn't? Well, shit.
Well, you know, that one pixel in the corner was very important, and you should feel terrible for missing it. Try again. At least you didn't get game
we're gonna
over.
have to go and do that. Yep. This is true. I mean, this is a Sierra game after all, so that is a bit of a surprise. But join us then, won't you?
See you then.
there's a lot of traffic wherever the heck I'm standing.
Here.